Hey everyone, welcome to With the Messenger. My name is Whitney, and this will be your new moon in Leo forecast. We are in Mercury retrograde season. I attempted yesterday to do this video 5 times, it cut off. So we're gonna try this again. Hopefully it works this time. The new moon is happening at 2 degrees Leo, and it is occurring on July the 24th. I do have my notes down here, so I will be looking down a bit until we get to the individual signs, because I have a bunch of notes here. I'm recording this on the 21st of July. Okay, so this energy should already be potent for those of you who have placements between anywhere from 0 to 5 degrees Leo, or fixed signs, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and fire signs, Sagittarius and Aries. Okay, so this is a fixed moon, right? So fixed moons are all about stability. They're about our sense of security, and it's also happening at 2 degrees, which is a Taurus degree, right? Another fixed sign. So again, those themes around wealth, around finances, around property, around the voice, okay, what we ingest, being the best at something, or wanting to be the best at something, okay, because that is what 2 degrees Taurus could represent as well. In terms of the transits occurring that day, it will be a Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. It will be trine Saturn and Neptune retrograde in the sign of Aries, and it will be sextile Uranus in the sign of Gemini. So a lot of the outer planets are involved, all except Jupiter in this. So I see this as a generational shift. Okay, we're going to talk about generational shift as it relates to your individual signs. But the reason why I call it a generational shift is because in our lifetime, there has never been Pluto in Aquarius, there has never been Neptune in Aries, and there has never been Uranus in Gemini. Okay, so definitely there are things occurring now that is new to us. Seeds that are being planted for things that are new. Uranus energy is breakthrough energy, so inspiration. Pluto energy is about transformation. Neptune energy is about, I kind of call Neptune saving grace. That's what I feel. I mean, I know the planet has the energy of illusions and things not being as weird as they seem, but I also feel like there's this strong connection to the spiritual world, so there could be a theme of saving grace associated with it in some cases, and I feel this will be one, simply because it's a trine, right? But we'll get into it for individual signs. On the same day, Mars in the South Node will be separating from a conjunction. Mars and the South Node both represent cutting things away, or making a decision. South Node specifically represents things from our past karma, past gifts and talents that we bring over from another lifetime. And then Mars is about making constructive, well, I don't know if I could use the word constructive, because it might not always feel constructive, the changes that Mars brings forth, right? It might feel chaotic, it might feel challenging, especially, let's say, for those who have this Virgo, like Aries, right, where this transit is happening in your 6th house, which is already a house of, and I kind of hear a siren just now, but I said the 6th house is also a house of challenges, right? So it might not feel the easiest for Aries folks, of everybody for sure, especially since they have Saturn and Neptune in their 1st house too, right? Off. So that energy will be baked in to the new moon story. New moons are a time of planting seeds. New moons, they take 2 weeks to 6 months to play out. I like to talk a little bit about world events only from the aspect of the fixed signs that are activated, right? And in this case, the fixed sign Talita will be activated, as well as the first decan of Leo, So what these fixed stars have to do, they'll be activated by a conjunction. Talita is at 2 degrees Leo. And it's about being prudent. It's about being quiet. It's about suspicions. Being mistrustful of someone, you know, especially if you have a placement here, 2 degrees Leo. Then this is a part of your birth chart, right? It's about self-control. It's about great anger when provoked, right? So on the world stage, we could see leaders of governments, leaders of countries, countries who have Leo rising or sun or moon, or leaders who have Leo rising, sun or moon, who could be affected by this if, you know, their placements are close enough to 2 degrees Leo. I haven't done my research for that. Maybe I will, and then put it on Twitter if anything. You could always follow me on Twitter at WhitLove, with WHIT, love always the number 8. Okay. Other world events could be fire, massive fires, death by like some type of fever, eye troubles, violent catastrophes in certain places. So for places with violent catastrophe, I would look to those countries who have a Leo moon, Leo rising, or a Leo 4th house. So those would be like maybe a Taurus rising or Taurus moon type country. Okay. Imprisonment. So imprisonment, disgrace, I feel like those would more apply to leaders with, or countries whose the leader has around 2 degrees Leo. Okay. And this also initiates great changes in society, that first decan of Leo, which I like, because like I said, the amount of outer planets that is involved in this lunation tells me there's some type of generational shift. There's some type of generational catch-up that the world has to do. I'm playing a subliminal in the background right now from the High Frequency Guru YouTube channel. It's called Everything is Shifting in Your Favor Faster Than You Can Process. Okay, I do feel like this new moon, especially being at 2 degrees, could definitely help us to put our best foot forward in the house that it is occurring for us. But the support will come from our Gemini and Aries house, and specifically our Aries house will ask for us to lock in and be very disciplined, whereas our Uranus house is where we will get that sudden inspiration. Our Gemini house will be where we get that sudden inspiration, where we get that sudden breakthrough that we may need via communication, something like that, right? And this could very well be tied into something from your past, just because Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Leo right now. The Sabian symbol for this lunation is a mature woman keeping up with the times, having her hair bobbed. Okay, and this could represent younger attitudes, plastic surgery, a certain independence from social constraints, battling society's glorification of the youth, relying on external fashion to disguise inner emptiness, midlife crises, especially those who are having, like those in their early 40s, they could be going through midlife crises. I always say that lady, that's that singer right now, she's going through a Uranus opposition, Nicki Minaj, and yeah, I feel she is going through. I'm not to downplay anything that she may feel or has alleged has happened to her, but definitely her way of handling it, I feel like it could be done better. And it's only going to get worse for her while Uranus goes into Gemini next year and stays there. Okay, because she has a bunch of planets in the sign of Sagittarius, so she's gonna be facing all these oppositions from Uranus in Gemini. She should get an astrologer on her team for sure. Oh, and this also has to do with changing appearance. So I do feel this is a Venusian type lunation, and you know, Leo is about, you know, pride or confidence, right? Leo energy naturally rules that, and then here we have it at 2 degrees, Taurus degree, ruled by Venus. So I feel this is a Venusian theme energy. I feel like some people will be doing the most to try to hold on to their youth indeed, though the times are shifting with all these generational planets. And I also feel, because Pluto is involved, that there could be certain, you know, Pluto in Aquarius, which is more about that statement piece, more about that, what you call it, authenticity, right? Not being scared to stand out, not being scared to defy the norm, you know. And you have double Aquarius energy in this, because not only is Pluto in Aquarius, but Gemini is in a sign of Uranus, which is associated with Aquarius. Okay, so some people might be going back to old-fashioned trends. Okay, there could be some nostalgia there around the fashion industry and how things used to be, how people used to express themselves, right? Leo is the sign of expression. It naturally rules the 5th house 2 weeks to 6 months post explanation, right? And of course, we could see maybe there might be some famous people, right? Because Leo does rule the famous folks, that could come in our headlines about being dishonest about plastic surgery work that they may have done. And I feel like the dishonesty will only be shocking, because they may have, let's think about those ones who they try to sell you a workout program or something to that degree, but really they got work done, and it's not from them really dedicating to any workout program, right? So it could be stuff like that for sure. Other themes around this, it's going to be a time of confronting and releasing buried emotional wounds, because you want to experience emotional freedom, especially as it relates to your Aquarius house. It's also a time of structured goals, realistic goals, and building, but building patiently. And this will be from your Aries house, okay, supporting this story. Because, you know, Saturn will be in Aries for the next 2 years. And Neptune, I don't remember how many years it takes Neptune to transit one sign. But it's some years, okay? So, yeah, that's a slow story that's building in your Aries house. And then also with Uranus influence, you know, it's a revolutionary type influence. Is unconventional beginnings and also sudden inspirations, okay? In terms of the different signs and the houses being affected, let me just take these off, these times from yesterday. So for fire signs, we have your Dharma houses being affected. That's houses 1, 5, and 9. Those are the houses of good karma. Those are houses of a connection to spirit. Those are houses connected to our purpose, the way we express ourselves, the way we're able to expand what we aspire to be, the way we assert ourselves to, right? It's the I am, I will, and I aspire houses, okay? So I want you to think about that. You know, Aries, you'll be shifting who you are and how you assert yourself. No, that's not Aries. Leo, sorry, because it's in Leo's first house. It's in Leo's first house. And then Sagittarius, you will be shifting the way that you express yourself. Is it Sagittarius? Why am I looking at this the wrong way? So, yes, Sagittarius. No, Sagittarius is your... Yeah, I'm correct. Because for Leo, it will, for Aries, it will be there. Okay, works. Leo, it's your first house. Your I am. Aries, it's your 5th house. This will be about how you express yourself. You know, what you're willing to do to bring yourself joy, what you're willing to create. And then Sagittarius, it will be your expression house of how you wish to aspire for things, the means in which, by expression I mean the ways in which you go about, okay, your moral values, your philosophy, you know, the way in which you align with others and express those belief systems, okay? Sorry, I butchered that for a minute. Water signs, this is happening in your Artha houses. So money houses are being activated for you by 3 planets. Sorry, not 3 planets. the lunar bodies, the sun and moon, in the sign of Leo, as well as Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Aries. Okay, so for you all, that's houses 2, 6, and 10. The I have houses, the give me a second. The I have houses for Cancer, it's I have. For Scorpio, it's your 10th house, which is the I use house. You know, you use your fame, you use your reputation, you use your discipline, you use your leadership skills to get to what it is that you want. And for Pisces, okay, yeah, so Pisces, for you all, it will be your 6th house, and it's the way that you analyze things. It's the way that you have that you express yourself critically or analytically. Okay, so I do feel for you all, money will be changing in the next coming month, and there's a support for it. But of course, with Saturn involved, it's a slow, steady type build, and you know, you're gonna have to put in a lot of effort. Okay, for earth signs, it's your moksha houses that will be really affected by this donation. And moksha house isn't the easiest to deal with. That's houses 4, 8, and 12. It's about what you feel, what you desire, and what you believe in, like subconsciously, specifically for that 12th house energy. And you know, with the 8th house, you could feel like something consumes you. You're passionate about something. And the 4th house is your inner thoughts that you're very well aware of, right? I feel for you all, there's a lot of letting go that needs to happen. Some of you may need to enroll into some therapy, okay? Or just be surrounded in the next 2 weeks or 6 months by people who are supportive of your emotions and supportive of what you believe and what you feel. If you are, you know, if you experience things on an intense level. The air signs, this is your karma house is being affected. So this is your relationship with others. You know, for you all, air signs specifically, you could have people from your past show up because Mercury is retrograde in your karma house at this time. So Taurus house is 3, 7, and 11. So X's, for example, for Aquarius with the 7th house, or Libra with Saturn and Neptune retrograde there. Is it Libra? Yes, Aries. So Libra, you know, your 7th house, you could have as well X's coming back. But all of you could have old friends, old family members that you don't talk to anymore. You know, these people or themes around these, even if it's not them directly, just themes around these people could be coming back. Old business partners, people that you had some type of contract with, even past enemies that you felt like, okay, y'all don't matter anymore, could come up, right? And these are people who you know are enemies. There could also be past ideas and aspirations that you have for your life that could come back around, and the opportunity to really plant seeds as it relates to them. Okay, I can't believe I'm 18 minutes in. I've never had one of these where I talk for so long in the beginning for the Astro video, but here we go. Let's see if I could condense it for Aries. All right, Aries, I'm gonna pull one card from this deck when I'm finished too for you. This will be more a Mercury retrograde card, not a new moon. Okay, Aries, so Saturn and Neptune is retrograde there in your 1st house. That's the I am house. That's how you see the world. That's how the world sees you. That has to do with your childhood environment, the way that you assert yourself for your self-independence, right? It's making a trine to Leo, Sun and Moon in your 5th house, which is the house of expression, right? It's the house of creativity. For some of you all, you could be changing the way that you see the world because of the way that you want to now express yourself, or the way that you want to show up in the world. Okay, whether that be if you decide you want to show up as a parent, meaning, hey, maybe this new moon you plant seeds that you want you or your partner to conceive, right? It could be a change in how you want to show up in romantic relationships, because the fifth house does deal romantic relationships, and there is a new moon planted there, so that could be a new cycle in love that's been initiated for you all. If you already have children, then this could be a new moon that starts for them. And in relation to you, you're gonna have to I feel like be disciplined, or at least shift your perception in order to be able to support them, if that makes sense. There is an opposition to Pluto in, I'm sorry, all of a sudden I'm very gassy. There is an opposition to Pluto in Aquarius in your 11th house from your 5th. And so I feel for some of you all, let's take the approach. Let's say you want to have a family, you want to start a family, or you want to be a part of a committed relationship, right? You want to take dating seriously, or you want to start a new romantic cycle. Then this is the way how the 11th house could play out. This could mean then that it's time for you to shift your goals and dreams, your aspirations, your wishes. This could be time where maybe you need to start to socialize and network in areas where they're more like-minded people. Okay, because it could be the current ones that you're in, they don't share your same goals and ideals. So if you're changing the way that you express yourself, if you decide that you want to take acting seriously, you want to be a model, you want to be a dancer, but your friends, there are network circles that you're in, they're a bit close-minded, you know, then this could be a time where that changes. I will say for some of you all, because the 11th house also has to do with stepchildren, and then we have the 5th house there that also deal with children. Aries, for some of you all, this could be a theme. Now, I'm not going to say specifically how this could turn out for any one of you, because it depends on what planet you have in your 11th house, if you even have one, or where your 11th house ruler is, to say what the type of relationship would be like. But I do feel like there could be a theme about children and stepchildren that comes up for you all 2 weeks to 6 months from this lunation, right? Where they become a bit more a focal point in your life, okay? Now, don't forget the sextile to Uranus in Gemini in your 3rd house. This could be where the sudden inspiration or the unconventional new beginning comes from. And so this has to do with short journeys. So maybe you take a trip somewhere and an opportunity is provided. This also has to do with communication, writing, education, brothers and sisters. So the inspiration, the new beginning, neighbors, it could all come from 3rd house people and things, okay? All right, so for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, what's their Mercury retrograde card? One card. We have numbing, we have self-medicating, addictions, and irrational behavior. So that's something that you want to look at with this new moon. I mean, the 5th house could be the house, because the house of luxury. And this is happening at the 2nd degree, which is a Taurus degree, which I said in the beginning has to do with your throat, what you ingest. Look to see if you're numbing yourself by the way that you go out to experience like instant gratification or a feel-good feeling. That's circular, but anyway, you get the point. Let's move on to Taurus. All right, Taurus, so this is happening in an angular house for you, as well as a moksha house. It's happening in your 4th house, and it's happening at 2nd degree, your degree. So I really feel at this time like some of you all could be saying that you want to change things in your home, right? You want it to be more of a place of comfort. Some of you, because it represents the home, I would say even homeland or your motherland, you may choose to express yourself more in your homeland, your mother town. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. The 4th house also has to do with the mother, and so there could be some themes around mother or even motherhood for some of you Taurus people. Could be a new start in the life of a mother. Let's switch to the opposition in Aquarius. because this is happening in another angular house for you, right? It's happening in Pluto, in the sign of Aquarius where Pluto sits, and will be for the next 18-19 years. There is a level of doing so good before it cut off. It took me 20 odd minutes before it cut off. I don't know, this has to be Mercury retrograde, because I've recorded longer videos and they don't cut off. But anywho's, Taurus. So while Pluto is in your 10th house for the next 10 years, sorry, not 10 years, the next 18 to 19 years, your status is changing in the world. What you're known as, you could start to be known eventually as a parent, as a husband, a wife, as a leader in your community, as a boss at your organization, a CEO. You know, Pluto is generational wealth, okay? But I do feel with this opposition to your 4th house, there is a need for you to balance how it is that you feel about things in your private life while you're ascending, or your identity is changing in the public world. I feel like if you don't do that, then you're putting up yourself for a bit of setback. I won't say denial, because I always feel like when it comes to what is for you, you could only delay. You cannot deny it. Eventually, well, you can delay. Let me say you could delay, because you could delay to a whole other next lifetime, right? Let me just leave it to delay, right? Until you decide to have the maturity and the courage enough to step into it. So that's changing. Could it be that something starts in your private life where the way people look at you publicly, things change? Yes, that's very, very possible. Okay. There is a trine to Saturn and Neptune in your 12th house, and so that goes back to what I was saying earlier about, you know, there's gonna have to be a shift that happens with you, and that shift will come from you honoring your feelings, okay? Because if you don't, then they're gonna show up in other ways. A lot of people say that you cannot be a good leader or a good boss if you're a terrible spouse or if you're a terrible parent, because these different facets of our life, they do intertwine, right? And so for you all, having to now confront the depths of your subconscious with these moksha activations, Mercury retrograde in your 4th house, Saturn and Neptune retrograde there in your 12th house, you know, that has to do with like karmic debt, things that are hidden, you know, your limitations, your subconscious programming, okay, your self-sabotaging tendencies, the way that you escape, okay? If you have Aries, then check out their one, because they just got numbing, which is about addiction and escaping type behaviors, okay? So some of you at this time, you could, if you want, it's just that you might wonder how other people would perceive you. But if you want, this could definitely be a time where you dive more deeper into the occult, okay? And that becoming something that you're known for at the top of the sky. The 10th house, that could be doing something from in and out your home. The 4th house, right? The energy, the trine between the 4th and 12th house is definitely there for that. It's just you might worry about what others think at the top of the sky with Pluto there in your 10th. Now let's not forget the sextile to Uranus in Gemini in your 2nd house. So your money wants to change. What you have or could have, that wants to change. There's some type of sudden breakthrough or inspiration or unconventional beginning that could happen for you. And for some of you all, like I said, it could be if you decide to tap into the occult. For some of you all, it could be through getting some type of promotion at work, or your reputation just changing, your self-image changing in some way, and that bringing more to you, right? But I would say that the opposition that you may want to think about or feel would be more from either people in authority, or it could be even be a father figure with that opposition to Pluto there in the 10th house. What do you have in your 8th house, Taurus? You have Sagittarius. No, I don't think that will happen. Yeah, I just feel like for you all, the difficulty of this will come from how you're perceived up in a 10th house. And it could also come from what you use your newfound power, because Pluto is power, right? When Pluto is present, there's a lot of dynamics of, you know, power struggles involved. That could be involved there. Now, because Mars and the South Node are in a conjunction in your 5th house around the time this is happening, remember I said that there could be something happening in your private life that becomes public and that changes people's perceptions of you, all Taurus. It could have to do with a romantic partner, or it could have something to do with children, and I'm gonna leave that there, okay? Just because the 12th house, which is things that are hidden, is a part of this story for you all, okay? All right, this is your Mercury retrograde card for Taurus, please. Mercury retrograde card. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We have lipstick evidence, infidelity, caught cheating, betrayal. Yeah, I kind of feel with Mars and the South Node going through your 5th house, Taurus, that there's some changes that could be happening there in your romantic life for sure, because Mars and the South Node, they cut things away, okay? We're gonna move on to Gemini. Okay, Gemini. So this new moon is happening in your 3rd house, which is a very comfortable house for you. You also have Mercury, your ruler, retrograde in that house right now. So I don't feel that this Mercury retrograde would be too difficult for you all. More likely, I feel like you all could handle it. You know, this is your ruler. This happens like 3 times a year. There could be a new car that comes. I am having the issues again with the cutoff all of a sudden. Anywho's, yeah, Gemini, there could be a new car that comes in for you all. There could be a new course of study. There could be a new writing project, or just any type of project, or short journey that comes about. And it could definitely be somewhere you've been before, because Mercury is retrograde there in your 3rd house. That comes about within 2 weeks to 6 months of this lunation, right? So it could simply be as you get into travel, you get into have a new car, you've been somewhere you've been before, a writing project coming in, pursuing some type of skill. 3rd house is more like certification type, right, rather than formal higher education type things, which the 9th house is. Now there is a opposition to Pluto in your 9th house. So for some of you all, Geminis, you could be trying to consider which one will hold more value, or in some cases, which one will bring more power to you. You could be considering whether you want to have this study maybe somewhere near to you or somewhere far away, whether you want to just do little certifications, or whether you want to really have like some type of formal educational settings for it, where you study, where you enroll and study for years, right? I also feel for you that it could be a mentor, a guru, someone that is stimulating some type of form of consciousness change for you all, right? And that's definitely going to change the way you think. And it makes sense because you have Uranus in your 1st house. Uranus is that sudden inspiration. Uranus is that unconventional beginning, that sudden breakthrough, that electricity jolt, right? That brings some type of new beginning. So the way you see the world, the way the world sees you, the way you think, those things are definitely changing. I feel on a whole, the way you think is changing, it's expanding, it's going to be different. Maybe you decide to pursue a new course of study and, you know, defy what's been advised to you from the 9th house. There is support from Saturn and Neptune in your 11th house. Okay, so you might have a benefactor, that's what the 11th house, or a friend or a wider network that, you know, they're going to support you in this change. There could be people that you decide that, okay, I have these people to lean on, or I choose to lean on these people. For you all, just because Mars and the South Node is going to be conjunct on that same day in your 4th house, Gemini, I do feel like there are some things as it relates to your home life that you're cutting away from. So for some of you, this could literally be you maybe selling a home or relocating from home or deciding to. Some of you, this could also be if your floating IC is in your third house and you're deciding to change communities, change where you live, right? So let's go to your cards, Gemini. Mercury retrograde card for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We have the cleanse, detox, ridding negativity, purification. Well, Mars and the South Node is going to conjunct there in your fourth house, so this could be a cleansing and purification that you need to have of your physical home or your spiritual home, your body. I got a wave. I'm a Gemini, Sun, and Moon, but I got a wave on the weekend to like really start cleaning my place, so this could have something to do with that. We're going to move on to Cancer. Cancer, this is happening in your second house, okay? And there is a trine to Saturn and Neptune in your 10th house. You're one of the signs that when it comes to money, within the next 2 weeks to 6 months, you could definitely start to see improvement in your finances, improvement in what it is that you own, what it is that you're able to say you have. Because remember, Jupiter is there in your first house too, so it's expanding your presence in life. It's protecting you, it's bestowing good luck upon you. Okay, so I do feel though, because Saturn is there in your 10th house, and you could ask Geminis about this, more responsibilities will be placed upon you as a result of this. It's like you get a new job, a new way to earn money, and boom, you know, that comes with more responsibilities than you've had before, right? Or you get a raise, get a promotion, but more responsibilities comes alongside it. Okay, so I honestly don't know why this thing keeps cutting off, but I'm gonna keep at it. So for you all Cancers, I feel that with Neptune present, though, I will say for you all with Neptune present, just because Saturn Neptune energy screws you, just make sure you read the fine print of what is this new opportunity that's being presented to you from your 10th house. Okay, yes, it will gain you more money in the second, or increase your what you have, your earnings, but you might just want to take an extra look at it. There is an opposition to Pluto in your 8th house. It's not an easy house. That is a house of, you know, the taboo, things we don't necessarily want to talk about. It's also a house of things that could be seen as hidden, right? More secretive, more mysterious. Okay, so for you all, especially since you have your second 8th house axis activated, Cancer, your security or stability will come into question. The money that you have versus the money that you share with others. Maybe there could be a little power struggle after this new moon, after whatever new opportunity comes in to make money that come as a result of this, right? It could be simple as, okay, you get more money and the 8th house is taxes, and income tax wants to come in and claim something, you know, or an ex wants to claim more alimony or more, or no one wants to come in and claim child support, though you're the one who has the child, you know, different type things. Okay, and then lastly we have the sextile to Uranus in Gemini. Cancers, for this one, it's in your 12th house, so that's a little bit more subtle. There's a sudden, I feel like you could have, because Uranus has to do with like unconventional beginnings, you could have some, because, and the 12th house has to do with like hidden support, like backroom deals and negotiations. Some of you all could definitely have something coming to you that's unexpected, but because someone said your name in rooms where you didn't know they were being spoken, type thing. Or this could be opportunities that comes to you from a far off place, right? Because that's what the 12th house represents, far off lands. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there. Cancer, what's Mercury retrograde card for Cancer, please? We have We have snack, physical attraction, sexual appeal, and obsession. Okay, now Mercury retrograde is happening in your second house. So I would say be careful of something as simple as be careful of overeating. Okay, wanting too much sweets, but also because it is happening in the second house and it is happening at the Taurus degree, which, you know, Taurus is naturally rules the second house. Just be mindful of possessively or controllingly overdoing certain things. Okay, you also have the 8th house axis activated, which is a house of intensity too. So be a little power struggle there. Even if it's not with a person, it could be with a thing. You know what I mean? Leo, this is happening in your first house. So for you, this specifically for you all, this could be you wanting to change your physical appearance, Leo. You want to express yourself in ways you have before, or you're trying to keep up with the younger generation. Are you interested in doing plastic surgery? You know, those type of things, they definitely could come to the surface for you. There is a trine to Saturn and Neptune in your 9th house. Leo, if you have interest in traveling or higher education, I feel this new moon will bring you the resources to do so. But the way it might come true might be unconventional, because we have the sextile to Uranus in your 11th house. So 11th house could be seen as benefactors. 11th house has to do with our hopes, our wishes, okay? So I feel like there could be some sudden jolt that gives you the support that you need to do something. But I would just watch out for the opposition to Pluto in Aquarius, because your committed partner or a business partner or just an open enemy, you know, someone that you have to deal with in a one-to-one basis, they might try to have some type of power struggle with you when it comes to you getting this opportunity, whether it's to travel, whether it's to... Yeah, I'm sorry about that. This is like the 5th time again. I had the same issue yesterday, and I'm just gonna try to keep through it. Yeah, so for you all, Leo, the opposition could definitely just come from someone from the 7th house, okay? Or they could be going through some type of transformation that it's kind of different from where you are in your life. And I just say that because with Saturn and Neptune there in your 9th house, your consciousness is expanding, it's changing, right? And Uranus energy does have to do with consciousness too. It's like your progressive ideals, right? What you want for humanity, what you want for the world. So let's get you your Mercury retrograde card. Be careful of procrastination, or there might be a need to slow down and procrastinate. Leo, Mercury retrograde card. We have masculine pride, toxic masculinity, meeting manly expectations. Okay, now Mercury is retrograde in your first house, Leo. Leo is that house of pride, right? And this said masculine pride, okay? But it could be in a toxic sense. So you might want to check that, keep that in check for yourself throughout this Mercury retrograde process. I'm not even going to continue to write times on these things. Let's move on to Virgo. Virgo, this is happening in your 12th house with an opposition to Pluto in your 6th house. For you all, this could be a time where health ailments could come up, or needing to take a new approach to a specific health ailment. Okay, the 6th house is a challenging house, and we do have it's a house of health, it's a house of service, it's a house of sickness, it's a house of bad karma. Okay, so Pluto transiting there, you definitely will be paying off karma. You definitely will be seeing changes in your body. You definitely will be engaging or meeting people through different service work who challenge you to rise above the status quo, okay? Because they're going to trigger you, basically, right? And because of the new moon happening in your 12th house, then that's also a house of karmic debt. That's also a house of like limitations, of illness, of escapism, stuff like that. So I really want you all to pay attention to your health. Take your health seriously. The 2 weeks to 6 months, try to schedule a checkup if you can. You just have, on the same day of this, the South Node and Mars conjuncting in your first house. So there's definitely something karmic about you all that has to change, that is changing. And I feel those who suppress or those who resist these things, it's harder for them, okay? There is a trine to Saturn and Neptune in your 8th house. Not a difficult house. For you all, Virgo, for that 8th house, Saturn, Neptune, check into therapy. Whether it be physical therapy, talk therapy, some type of holistic healing, you know, what is happening internally in your body and your mind and your heart and your soul is all connected right now. So I feel like this new moon is giving you, especially since it's sign of Leo, is giving you a new way to express these things that you may have kept inside, okay? There is a sextile to Uranus in your 10th house. Work opportunities could come in. I'm not gonna discredit that because we have Uranus Pluto trine between your 10th and 6th house, and it could come from a foreign place or through backroom deals and negotiations. But for some of you all, you might want to look at your relationship with the masculine energy and your relationship to authority figures, okay? Because there's some type of sudden inspiration or breakthrough or unconventional beginning that Uranus could bring for you by looking into those things, okay? Your Mercury retrograde card. First Virgo, please. Mercury retrograde card. All right. Ooh. So you're going to go from... It could be one or the other. Nope, basically put them back. I've got to put them back. Okay. Mercury retrograde for... Okay, well that's a better one, and it came upwards. So you have a lucky break. Hopefully this resolution helps, because now this is like the 6th time. Okay, so you all got lucky break, a turning point, good fortunes, good things coming in for you all. Give me one more for Mercury retrograde for Leo placements. Sorry, for Virgo placements. Yeah, lift off, fast action, progression forward. The wait is over. So remember, this is different from the new moon. This is Mercury retrograde message for you all for the next 3 weeks. Okay, we're gonna move on to Libra. Libra, this is happening in your 11th house of your hopes, wishes, aspirations, friendships, stepchildren if you have them, social networks, okay, or actual physical networks, you know, people that you would be out and about with. And there's an opposition to Pluto in your 5th house. So who did I say this for? I said this for Aries also. That if you have children, or if you want children, and you also have stepchildren, they will definitely be a team for you after this nation. And it all depends on the ruler of these houses, where they're placed in your natal chart, if you have any planets in those signs, how this will unfold. So I won't try to interpret it or delineate it for you. Just know that children and stepchildren will be a theme for you within 2 weeks to 6 months of this lunation, Libra. So new moons are a time of planting seeds, right? And so for you all, there definitely could be seeds being planted about your long-term gains and goals that you wish from your career. There could be seeds being planted in terms of friendships. There is a trine to Saturn and Neptune there in your 7th house. So maybe you and your partner decide to take your commitment to another level. having children, moving in together, blending family. If you are, you know, in a relationship with someone, and that could be where stepchildren and children come into being. For some of you all, this could be where if you are an entrepreneur or wish to be, you decide to join with a business partner or an angel investor, because the 11th house could be that too, who's like a silent partner basically. And there is a sextile to Uranus in the 9th house, so the sudden breakthroughs could be from like a mentor, a guru, a guide who turns you on to someone who can help you. Some of you all may have to travel for this opportunity. Some of you all, a shift in your belief system. Like, you know, you grew up in this culture, in this religion, and you were always taught to believe this thing, and the minute you snap out of it, you see the endless possibilities that are in front of you. Like, let's say for instance, you're in a religion that were against eating something specific, and I don't know why. That's not the best example. I'm trying to find a good example, but nonetheless, I feel for you all that changing your belief system will open up new possibilities, or at least it will challenge your belief system. Okay, let's see what's your Mercury retrograde card, Libra. Mercury retrograde card for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is different from the new moon. So we have sipping, nosy, spreading rumors, gossiping. So this, ooh, look at the bottom of the deck. Knocked up, pregnancy, expecting, mothering. I was just going to say this could definitely have to do with those of you who have stepchildren or children. And there could maybe be some rumors, some gossip about, you know, the person that you want to date. Ooh, maybe that person has children. You know, people saying a lot of stuff. But your happiness is what matters, okay? All right, moving on to Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is happening in an angular house for you all, Scorpio. Angular houses, I should say, because 10 and 4 is activated for you all, just like Taurus placements, but in reverse. For you all, it's in your 10th house. So new seeds are being planted as it relates to 10th house matters. Your discipline, your destiny, your status, what you're known as. If you want fame, you know, all of these things, they're represented by the 10th house. Now, I will say for you all, since there's an opposition to Pluto in your 4th house, things are really transforming under the surface, right? For you all, what you feel. Your home life is changing. Because you have 4th house in Aquarius, your house won't look, your home won't look the way that others expect it. Won't look the way that others is expecting. So this video keeps cutting off, but I'm gonna finish this, so I'm gonna get through to it. It's not gonna look the way others expect it to, and that's fine. However, I feel like you're gonna need your home life to support what is happening in your 10th house, and so that could be where transformation needs to occur for you all. There is a trine to Saturn and Neptune in your 6th house. 6th house isn't an easy house to deal with, for sure. Like Virgo, Virgo, Capricorn, and Pisces, you all have 6th house activations with this lunation, so it's gonna be a little bit difficult for you all. For you specifically, your routines have to change with Saturn there. There's more discipline that has to come about. If you want to accomplish this fame, you want to accomplish this reputation, you want to accomplish this leadership position, more responsibilities come in the 10th. So what you do to your day-to-day in your 6th house, that has to change. How you be of service, how you employ other people's services, that's have to change. And that's what I'm saying. Like your 4th house, it might not be what other people expect. You might need to have people come in and help you with the kids. Okay? You might need, I don't know other examples I could use. But basically what I'm trying to say is, it's going to look different for you. Okay? And your daily routine is definitely going to be a part of it. I would say with the sextile to Uranus in Gemini, There could be conversations that you have about shared resources and responsibilities, especially shared responsibilities. Again, as it relates to that fourth house, with that Pluto in that fourth house, could this be a situation where you're unique, where you're I'm not saying this for you because I don't claim this on me either, but if this is the case where you're the woman who goes out to work and the man is a stay-at-home parent, then whatever works for you, okay? Because with the Uranus in the 8th house there, it's the taboo, it's what's unconventional, okay? It's what most people wouldn't dare think about doing, okay, or living out loud. So shared responsibilities, definitely, because I feel like you're going to be stepping into new power 2 weeks to 6 months with this new moon in your 10th house, and you need these other things to support you in it, okay? But the way you're gonna go about getting that support might be a little bit different. What do we have for Scorpios, please? Mercury retrograde. This is different from the new moon. This is your card for Mercury retrograde. Okay, so we have reading up, doing the research, learning more, gaining insight. Okay, this Mercury retrograde is happening in your 10th house. So as it relates to what it is that you're trying to accomplish, what you want to do up there in that 10th house, you're going to need to do a bit more research. You're going to have to learn some more before you push forward with it, okay? Sagittarius, this is happening in your 9th house with a trine to Saturn and Neptune in your 5th house. Dharma house is being activated for you, okay? Your ruler right now is in the sign of its exaltation, so I won't say this is too much of a challenging time for you, though we do have that Uranus in your 7th house, okay? Bringing unconventional people into your life, bringing sudden changes into your one-to-one partnerships. So for you all, there could be a new beginning that comes forward in terms of study, travel, higher education type study, long distance travel and exploration. Some of you may choose to go on sabbaticals. Some of you may change the religion that you believe in. Some of you may find a new philosophy to follow within the next 2 weeks to 6 months. And we do have that trine to the 5th house. So there's going to be a little bit of, I want to say there's going to be some ease in the way you express yourself and the opportunities, because the 5th house is a house of good karma. But Saturn is involved, and you know Saturn is not an easy planet to deal with. So there's going to be a bit of dedication that is needed here in order to do that thing that you want to do. This could be something that you wanted to do from childhood, 5th house, right? But you're really gonna have to dedicate to it, or you're really gonna see the truth of what it entails. Like it's not just what it looks good on the surface. There's a lot of dedication that is a part of this thing. Now the 5th house does also have to do with our children. So there could be changes happening in the life of your child. For some of you all, if you're old enough to be grandparents, this could be where this energy supports for you with a 9th house, 5th house trine for you to become a grandparent, okay? Outside of that, there's the opposition to Pluto and Aquarius in your 3rd house. Like I told Gemini, you could be deciding whether it makes sense for you to travel to study, or study locally, or study online, or do just a certification versus getting an actual degree, those type of things. Some of you could be considering, especially with Uranus and Gemini there in your 7th house, your floating IC could be in your 3rd house. Some of you could be considering whether or not you want to move, relocate, and that could be as a result of a relationship, a committed relationship that you've been a part of, coming together or falling apart, right? Because we have Uranus in Gemini, so it's something that's sudden, okay? Sagittarius, what's their Mercury retrograde message? This message is separate from your new moon message. This is with the Oracle card. Who got this? I'm trying to remember who else got this. I think it's Virgo or Libra. But you got masculine pride, toxic masculinity, and meeting manly expectations. Okay, so be careful of that during this time, especially as it relates to your conscious views. You know, Mercury is retrograde there in your 9th house, so that has a lot to do with our philosophy, our religion, what was programmed within us through generations. Okay, so you might want to check that. Capricorn, if this I swear, if this out for Capricorn, I don't even think I'm gonna reach Aquarius or Pisces. This is exhausting to keep dealing with. All right, Capricorn, so this is happening in your 8th house with a opposition to Pluto in your 2nd house. So what is coming up for you is shared responsibilities, shared resources. Okay, those things from the 8th house perspective is taking a new approach. The way that you support others, the way that you receive support from others, whether that be through physical responsibilities or actual finances. Right? Pluto is there in your 2nd house. So Pluto is generational wealth. Pluto is transformative. Okay, so I do feel for some of you all, there's some type of generational wealth that you're tapping into, or I don't feel you're being cut off from it. I feel like you're tapping into it. But this could be where family members, because we have the trine to Saturn and Neptune there in your 4th house. This could be where family members, to whom much is given, much is expected, huh? So they're expecting then you to contribute some more. Could this be a signature of a loved one, an elderly loved one passing away? Maybe. Because that could be where the generational wealth. 2nd house is also things that we get from our family, right? The 8th house is an inheritance house. So could be where you get something. And you know what, sometimes these people don't even have to pass for you to tap into those inheritances, right? So this could just be what someone gives you, but then you have to look at how you share it with another, or what you'll do with it. There is a trine to Saturn and Neptune there in your 4th house, so I do feel like there's more that's going to be expected of you, more limitation and restrictions that's going to be placed on you as it relates to your home life. Some of you could be moving or have the opportunity that suddenly comes to move, only because there is the sextile to Uranus in Gemini in the 6th house. And the 6th house, and you're the first sign that I'm mentioning in this for as it relates to the 6th house. But the 6th house does have to do with rental opportunities. So some of you could be getting an opportunity to rent somewhere, but maybe it's a little bit costly. Okay, so then you might have to shift your priorities in terms of how much you share with others, okay, or how much help you get from them, Capricorns. Be careful of what you ingest, what you put into your body, just because we have the 8th house, 6th house, 4th house, and 2nd house activated here, and I feel like that could, though it's not the 12th house that has to do with escapist tendencies, the 8th house does have to do with addictions to some degree, okay? Capricorn, Mercury retrograde. So this message is different from your new moon message that I just gave you. That new moon message will take 2 weeks to 6 months to play out. Mercury retrograde, this one will take 3 weeks. We have fed up over it, not having it, frustrated. So I don't know, this could definitely be how you feel about what you're contributing to others, or what others are contributing to you, or how responsibilities are shared. And I say that because the Mercury retrograde is happening in your 8th house of shared responsibilities. Okay, Aquarius, this is happening in your 7th house. You know, you are the one sign that could be having past lovers returning, or you returning to them. Okay, and there is a opposition to Pluto in your 1st house, so your identity is changing, Aquarius, at this time, right? And you're going through a transformation. You want to be emotionally free. I feel for some of you, a new cycle in love could start for you, whether that be you leaving who you are with, or you meeting someone new who stokes some type of flame. And I say that because there is a sextile to Uranus in Gemini in your 5th house, which is the house of romantic partners. Okay, for some of you all, because Uranus is in Gemini in your 5th house, it could be your children that sparks a change, whether that be, okay, you and your whether that be you and your person conceive, right? And that's a major change that happens in your life, or whether that be you know, your child just doesn't like the person that you're with, even if, or the other parent, your co-parent, isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing for a child, so that kind of inspires you to leave and maybe take your child with you type energy. It's real unconventional. That is coming from the 5th house. But for a lot of you all, especially singles, this could be where someone really like they just out the blue just come and like, where have you been all my life? You know, I said this to a client last year when Uranus was transiting a specific point in his 5th house, that someone out the blue will come along and you're gonna be like, whoo, you know, electricity shocked you. And he was like, oh no, you know, I'm single, I doubt that. They're about to move in together, y'all. So I'm just saying, like, it's possible, right? And this person could be in your neighborhood, because we do have a trine to Neptune and Saturn in your 3rd house. So it could be someone that you meet on commute, someone that you work with on a day-to-day basis, someone that you meet in educational setting, someone that you meet on a short journey. Okay, I also feel for you all with Uranus and Gemini in your 5th house, and that Saturn Neptune there in trine in your 3rd house as it relates to your 7th house. The way that you express yourself in romantic relationships is changing, or at least is being challenged to change by whoever new comes in your life, or the romantic person in your life. The 3rd house does have to do with expressions. Saturn there is a little bit of restriction. Perhaps you might feel like you don't have the words to say what you want to say, or you may feel like you're being forced to say more than you want to say. You know, you're an air sign. You're not very lovey-dovey, right? But in this situation, you're being called to, for sure. Okay, let's get your Mercury retrograde card, Aquarius. Mercury retrograde for Aquarius, please. Okay, it's 1. Yeah, we have physical attraction, obsession, sex appeal. That's that Uranus in 5th house, I'm telling you all. This Mercury retrograde, someone, even if it's just someone that you saw in passing, like they could just, I don't know, but just be careful about taking your time when Mercury retrograde occurs and you try to start a new relationship, because they might be there for a good time but not a long time. So I would say just take your time. Despite feeling obsessed or extremely attracted to this person, move slow. Okay, I'm not about to do Pisces, I'm sorry. We stop too much. Okay, until next time, be blessed.